Hey yo, what's up? This is Mixmaster Mike, Serial Wax Killer, Beastie Boys DJ Assassin, and you're tuned into my man Box in the Morning. Don't be a clown, don't sleep. Here he is, y'all.
Happy Friday in the Holy City, and we're going to do this one fun style. We have enough bad news to keep us awake at night, and tonight is the night we blow off a bunch of steam and have a great time at the SportsBook Comedy Showcase. Keith, Big Daddy D, what's up, dude?
Hey, man, how you doing this morning? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man, you're a player in the comedy scene for years, and you're throwing these shows, and I saw this one coming up, and I said, it's a free event, it's a Friday night.
Yeah, you can't beat it.
There are no excuses.
We're just giving away good times.
I like it. So let's talk about the lineup tonight.
So we got Shawna Jarrett, who's here with me this morning.
Hi, Shawna. It's been
good morning.
Nice to talk to her a little bit off the air and get her backstory. And
yeah.
She's quite the spinner in the comedy scene as well. You host some regular things at the Tin Roof.
Yeah, I do the Get Up Comedy Night, which is the first Wednesday of every month at Tin Roof. And then Keith does a bunch of showcases. I'm on a bunch of those, and then just kind of touring around the Southeast otherwise.
Yeah, very good. All right. So
she's our comedy matriarch here in Charleston.
Do we expect a lot out of her as far as keeping everybody else in tow, or is this the wild card? We're like, well, when Shawna goes on, forget it.
Oh no, she
crushes.
No,
I'm like a matriarch off stage. I think on stage I'm a little bit looser, like
That's exactly right. She keeps everyone. She's been a huge help to me. She's been a big help and helped me get things set up, give me a lot of great advice, and she really she's a good leader in the comedy scene here in Charleston. But once she gets on stage, it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be hilarious.
And the last start tonight at 9. This is the Sportsbook of Charleston. This is near Tanger, and it is a free event. You want to get there a little early, of course.
Yeah, and the food there is great.
The food is good.
Yeah, it's a great menu, great beer menu, great full bar. You don't have to be 21 to get in. You bring your young people. I don't recommend kids, but if you got
I would not recommend children.
Yeah. No.
You got a 15,
do a summer
16-year-old.
camp. Don't bring them to this comedy show.
Yeah.
If you let them watch R-rated movies, you get
Or
16, 17-year-old, whatever, that's fine.
Since the event is free, just pop for the babysitter and call it even.
Seriously.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Do that. Go out and have a good time, unwind,
Right.
and get loose. Now, let's talk about comedy in Charleston and where it is, where you'd like to see it, and how, what the things did you experience getting the word out there? Because there are a lot of great, talented comedians like yourself. Shawna is based out of Charleston.
So the Charleston comedy scene is really growing. I wanted to finish the lineup for tonight too. So also we got two New Yorkers coming down, Paul Spratt and
Don't
Tyler.
try to tell us how you do it up north, Paul Spratt.
That's right. No rebel jokes. And Tyler Rothrock. They're both. They're actually on an East Coast tour coming down here. Comedians don't go anywhere without finding a show to go. They're actually coming to town for a wedding, and so they found gigs all the way down. We make a 12-hour drive turn into a 5-day comedy tour.
If at all possible.
If at all possible.
Talk to musicians that do that. Like a dude will drive 10 hours to play a 3-hour gig and have to drive back.
Yeah.
That's
But that's how you get your name out there.
That's true, and you really can't stop doing that. And like you talk about these comedians from New York, how do you network with them? How do they find you? How does this all happen to where you can package a tour like tonight's?
So, good question. These guys actually very funny. They both got their own comedy albums on iTunes and stuff, and they've been doing comedy a while. But we actually, an old Charleston native, Derek Humphreys, moved to New York to get into the comedy scene up there, try to strike out big. Up there, strike out big. Is that a Freudian slip? Strike out big in New York.
Big, yeah.
So he's met them and seen them do comedy up there. They were headed southeast, and we all sort of network.
We had Derek here for a show for with Joseph Coker, who's another local comic and
Love
a good
him,
friend of
yeah.
ours. He's awesome.
Yeah,
he did a show for the North Charleston Arts Festival back in May, and he had Derek come down to headline that. And when he was here, we were talking to him, and he recommended these guys. So
these guys are coming down. Put them on a show if you can, and it worked out.
Very cool. I think of some of the other comedians that have done pretty well for themselves. Dusty Slay has been touring and killing it, man.
He did. Yeah, Keith's first ever showcase at Creekside. Dusty came in and headlined that, and he's coming back to do your 1-year anniversary show in August.
We just found out he can't make it.
Dang it! I'm sorry.
No!
Yeah, he's
delete.
Man,
he's devastated. Actually, so Dusty was my first headliner ever at a big show. Shawna was also on that show. She was my first feature ever. And Dusty's wife, we don't introduce her that way in comedy, we just say Miss Hannah Hogan. She was my first ever opener. She's coming back for an anniversary show. It's our 1-year anniversary in August. So SportsBook and Creekside, the two big shows I did.
When Keith rolled out, he rolled out big. He started both showcases in the same month.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Hannah's coming back to do the anniversary
She's
show.
very, very funny.
Shawna's going to be in the anniversary show, and I'm looking for a headliner, guys.
Okay. Well,
Got a couple irons in the fire. So
what about Evan Burke? You know,
he's coming to town next week.
Dude, he's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
He is. He's been doing TMZ. Interviewed Bill Clinton the other day. Did you
I
see that?
I keep seeing that. It's just so cool to see people doing so well. I'm like, oh, here he is with some rapper. Who was he with the other day? Little Scrappy.
Yeah.
My man Evan Burke with Lil Scrappy. I know, dude, that's pretty cool. That's a great story you can tell everybody.
He hit me up last week. He's coming to town for the 4th of July. I invited him to feature at my open mic, which is the first Friday of every month at Sportsbook. And so he's thinking about doing that. So hopefully this will encourage him to do it. But he's coming to town looking for some.
Calling you out, Evan.
Well, I may have him come feature on the Get Up then, because we're doing a July 4th show, since that's the first Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah,
Tell
and
him that.
we're gonna do fireworks after. It's air conditioned inside. We'll pop out and be party kids after that, but you don't have to stand outside all
You're going to
night.
do fireworks at the Tin Roof?
Yeah.
We're going to burn that place down.
I mean, no. If
Not
an official from the
allowed.
city of Charleston is listening, we are under no circumstances going to do fireworks at the Tin Roof.
Okay, yeah,
that's an ignorant question.
Right.
No,
I'm really
Who
sorry.
would do that?
I don't know. I have no idea.
We might have a sparkler.
So this
Okay.
first Wednesday of every month is when you do your thing at the Tin Roof. Talk
Yep.
about that, because that happens to fall on July 4th. We want to get some word out about that as well.
Yeah, so we're going to do our regular mic. I have a really weird, cool mic.
You do. It's awesome.
If you're a comic or thinking about being a comic, I do a writer's group beforehand
Very
from
helpful.
7:30 to 8:30, where we just all round table outside, and then sign up is at 8:30. Show goes up at 9. I've got a DJ Pat Nasty. So if you're a comic starting out, it's a chance to have kind of a cool DJ doing walk-up music for you, and it really has like a good
Well,
show
production
feel to it.
value, yeah.
And then a couple months ago, I'm a weirdo, man. I built like a spin to win wheel.
Yes, the wheel is awesome.
I'll send you a picture of it if you're going to post stuff, because you really have to have a visual for what it is. And it's like the pie slices are like comedy premises. So when you go up, you've got your set you're going to do. You can spin, and then you have to add a pun. You have to do crowd work. You have to take an audience question, whatever it is. And then one of them is I have to buy you a shot.
Which has never,
Which has
ever
yet to
spun
happen.
yet.
I love that you think that I have the physics and engineering wherewithal to weight this wheel to where I never have to buy
See,
a
I
shot.
think I'm with you, Keith. I'm thinking the same thing. I think
Absolutely.
she is that brilliant.
Criminal
Absolutely.
mastermind Shawna Jarrett is at the Tin Roof on the first Wednesday of every month.
That peg is slightly in. Yeah. And the Writers Workshop is really great, especially for a new comic or even somebody who's coming through or just been writing jokes, and you come there and you say, hey man, this is what I was thinking, and I've gotten some tags out of that. I'm like, I feel like this joke should kill, and the table just helps. And Shawna's a huge creative mind. She's just really helpful, and she sees right to the point of stuff, so it's a cool thing to do. Plus the open mic is great. The room's cozy. It's a cool place.
I think that doing the writers group beforehand, a lot of open mics, as opposed to shows, comics will come in, they'll do their set and dip, or they'll be on their phone or whatever, because we've done the writers group beforehand. It's a really loving room. Like, everybody stays, everybody sits,
Yeah.
everybody's engaged. If somebody helps you write a joke, they want to see you do it.
Yeah.
And we have an organic audience of non-comics who come just for that, because it's all of our working comics doing comedy for free around the corner.
And when you see someone who does not have any experience, but they're taking that leap for the first time, I mean, come on, you
I
guys.
love first timers. I really do.
It's got to be scary. I know you guys know what that feels like.
My
Oh,
first
yeah.
mic ever was at Tin Roof. So it really meant a lot to me to take that room, because I got into this there. It was supposed to be a one-off kind of bucket list thing, and I went up there and I loved it. Yeah.
I like that you're doing something positive with it and paying it forward
Mm-hmm.
and,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
helping other people up and come.
That's where the matriarch role comes in. She's really more of a mommy than a matriarch. She's really a big help to all of us.
Okay, I'm out.
Yeah, we got to stop making her sound so nice. I'm expecting a crushing blow tonight during her set.
She's a badass. She's a badass too. She's really good. She does great, and really, just keeps a leadership position is so important, where you have just these randos and out of towners and people coming in and just trying to do comedy. We had a little internal discipline had to deal with lately, and it was just a group thing. Look, we don't do this as a Charleston comedy scene. This is out, and it was the right move, and everybody was agreed. Nobody would have reached out to one another if it hadn't been for Shawna. So, but enough about that.
Yeah,
negative stuff.
no.
We got some good stuff going on.
I think it matters. I did an interview with the City Paper a couple years ago, and they asked me, for people, for better or worse, most comics are white dudes with beards, largely, right? That's kind of, you could look at a lineup, and they're, as comics, they're all individuals and whatever, but for somebody outside who is, maybe a person of color or a woman or whatever, it can kind of seem like, do I want to get involved in this? Is there room for me in this? And I think that we've got a great scene. We got a really welcoming, open, awesome scene where you can pick any mic and come out and try it and know that it's not going to be a bunch of bro jokes and there's not going to be room for you. So I think it does matter.
And there's a lot more going on than maybe we realize. That's why I wanted to have you guys on to talk about this stuff.
There's so much going on, and it's really, really, really busy.
The bus.
Yeah, Charleston's got a comedy bus now.
I'm the lead comic on the Charleston comedy bus. We partnered with Pineapple Tour Group.
Okay.
And Charleston doesn't have a comedy club. So we said, right. So legally, we could call it Charleston's only comedy club. And we could just do...
Or Charleston's first and only mobile comedy club.
Exactly. Yeah. We used to call it the Charleston Comedy Tour. The city of Charleston told us that we were not licensed tour guides.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so my opener on that is always, guys, you're not going to hear any history on this tour. The city of Charleston said no history. And I went to public school here, so I don't know any history. So that... No offense.
So how does that frame your joke telling? I mean, we're in kind of a weird place, where sometimes you're like, well, do I alienate half of my audience out of the bag of, when I say this joke, or do you just go from the, hey, this is what I'm feeling?
My goal,
how do you approach that when you're trying to make people laugh, trying to make people loosen up, but there are obvious issues you can't ignore?
Oh, so you're not talking about just on the bus. I was going to say my goal when I do one of the bus, not tours, the bus shows, my goal is to split the crowd and turn them against each other and start that bantering back and forth.
It's a lot of crowd work.
They love that.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah, it's an hour-long show. It's on a bus. They don't want to hear you monologue material.
No, this is a totally different approach.
Yeah. It's I have some stories I typically tell when I drive by stuff because I can talk about things that happen to me. But for the most part, I just do crowd work.
Well, here's AC's. I vomited out front of this place back in 1994.
You said that we can curse on here. I did one whole tour that was just parking garages. I got finger banged in high school. That's my history.
Like true stories. Like the grit you're gonna get nowhere else.
Or I tell them, I'm gonna tell you up front it's a lie. I can lie to you. So you can pick a building and I can be like, Benjamin Franklin invented the typewriter in that building, and then had a poop accident. Whatever.
Exactly. And as long as you say it with conviction, people will most
and as long as I say it
you.
at the top and bottom that it was a lie, yeah, sure.
There you go.
Yeah.
The last show I did, a guy got on there was a crowd coming from a bar, and the guy got on the bus and he had a homemade T-shirt that said "The Baller." So right that's 30% of my show.
Thank you,
right
Comedy
there.
Jesus. Thank you
You're
so much.
You're making it so easy for me.
Exactly.
Was it like you said it was homemade? Was it like Sharpie or puffy paint or what kind of?
It was
homemade?
puffy paint.
Good
like
Lord.
that.
It wasn't even an airbrush job.
No,
like you would have gotten at Northwoods
it was
Mall.
not a high quality. And so then I asked the guy, like, why they call you the baller, man? And his story
no
was,
one calls me that.
Well, I ordered a pizza one time and it was called the Baller. I'm like, dude, if you're gonna wear a T-shirt, get drunk, walk the streets of Charleston,
you better have a story, make up a
need
story. We don't
backstory.
care.
Way better than I ordered a pizza. So that was 30% of the show.
It's all about details, man. I convinced the entire senior class of my high school that I have a glass eye. No reason. For no reason.
Well, it's just to have fun with people.
Yeah.
It is about having fun. SportsBook of Charleston. You do a lot of shows here, Keith. So let's talk about the venues, how regularly things are going on, and let's spotlight some of the other things that maybe we don't know about going on in this town, so people can get out and support live comedy.
Absolutely. So I partner with every comic's got a venue or a group of venues that are sort of theirs, and we don't ever infringe on each other's territory. We don't try to, like, no one's coming to my shows and try to talk to the owner about having a better show than what I do. We don't do that in comedy. We're very, very loyal to each other, and we want to be on each other's shows. We want to support each other. I was very fortunate to run into the Lucky 17 restaurant group, which is Travis Glenn and Josh Butler at Sportsbook is the owner and bartender there. And I reached out to him and said, hey, how would you guys like to do some comedy at your venues? And Travis, lucky for me, he's a huge comedy fan, goes to comedy shows all the time. He reached right out and said,
I remember when you first pitched to him and you got out of there and you're like, oh man, he's in.
He is way in. Yeah.
How good does that feel?
It's awesome because you never really know. And one of the things, you don't want to do a bad show, right? You don't want to pick a bar just so you can have a stage and then that guy that runs that bar is not interested in your show. If you can't put a good show together, then really you've got a bad show that people hear about, they don't want to come back to. So it was important to me, and I got some great advice from Shawna, from Dusty Slay. Dusty Slay actually sent me a list of things that make a great show, and I quoted it in my City Paper article because they were critical things. I took him to Travis Glenn. He's like, yep, we're going to do all that. Got a spotlight from Home Depot. But we got
Hey,
a
whatever
spotlight.
it takes.
That's right.
That's what you don't want to do. I've seen this where it's just like some random bar.
Exactly.
And there are comedians doing their thing, and you're like, these people had no idea the comedian was going to be there.
Yeah.
Half the time, the people that are
sucks.
running the whole thing are like, what are these guys doing? It could just be some guy playing covers for all I care, and
Right.
that's not just setting up anybody for success or furthering the cause.
You got to have all the chairs facing the stage. You got to have a stage. Actually, they don't have stages at the Lucky 17 restaurant, so I built a 6x6 stage, painted it black.
It's got
hauled it
wheels in
around.
the back. You can drag it in and out.
That's
The
right.
man built a stage.
Look
It's,
at this.
It's heavy as crap.
What you won't
too.
do for laughs in
That's
this
right.
town.
That's right. Just give me a place to put a microphone up. So we do shows at Creekside about every 6 weeks, and that's Facebook.com Creekside Comedy, and then and you can find all of them on my page at Keith D Comedy. But we do a SportsBook has an open mic the first Friday of every month, and that's open to everybody. And we just started doing features at the end. Hopefully Evan Burke, shout out, will come do ours July 6th. We've had a couple others, and then that's every month, first Friday. And then SportsBook also hosts a showcase like we have tonight at 9 o'clock. And that's usually a free show. The Creekside show, we've had some out-of-town headliners, some big names, Drew Thomas, Sean Jones, Tim Northern, all on Last Comic Standing. Dusty was on Last Comic Standing. Kier from Nashville did a musical comedy show. Some big names come there to Creekside. And we usually get some great headliner comedians at SportsBook, usually more regional folks. These guys from New York are coming down. I had Rob Gargiulo, am I allowed to say that name, from another radio show that came up from Florida that did my I think it was my first showcase was Rob Gargiulo from
At
down
SportsBook?
Florida.
Yeah.
At SportsBook. So we've had some out-of-towners that'll reach out. And once you start that, now, like, you probably do too, I get Facebook messages and texts all the time. Like,
I don't
hey,
even
man,
do a showcase, and people are like,
Okay.
I get
I'm
messages
coming to
like,
town.
I asked my friend, and they said that you're, so. But I'm not a bad point person though, because if they're right for your show, I'll
Yeah, you sent me a feature just the other day.
I'll give
It's gonna
some
be
to
on my
Joseph.
September 15th
Joseph
show.
Coker does a monthly show at Mini Bar.
Yeah,
downtown.
Elliott Borough Mini Bar.
Yep.
That's a great little cozy show downtown. He
Thursday
does
show
that.
down there.
Yep.
So I'll push him in the right direction.
So it's really taken off, and I've been amazed at the. We've got some regulars, but just about every show we've been selling out. The Creekside show's been selling out for the last.
Oh yeah, he packs
5
that room
months.
out.
It's really
That's not
cool.
a free show. He packs it out.
Yeah, and it's and every time I ask at the beginning, how many of you have never been here before? And it's usually 70% of the room is brand new people. So which means the audience is growing, and it's
also good for the business owner.
Very
because they
good,
have
yeah.
they have great food.
All of
Yeah.
that has to
You
work
know.
together. Well, okay, let's
Yeah.
talk. You mentioned the food again. She's like, try the veal. It is the best in the city. And also, I just this article this week. I wanted to talk to you about this. A new survey is finding that millennials are the worst tippers.
Oh,
Yeah, they were even focusing in on Charleston in the greater area. People my age, they call Generation X, seem to be the best tippers, but the like the teenagers are the worst, and the millennials nationwide are pretty bad, but a little better here because I think a lot of them know the F&B struggle.
Yeah, I think whatever's left after you pay for parking downtown to get to your job, you probably give to some other server. It's just a back and forth of servers tipping each other.
Ugh.
I'm an aggressively good tipper.
Me too.
And I for two reasons. I traveled a lot, so I was always on company money when I was traveling in those days. But also, a lot of these venues that I go to, I work with or want to work with, and I want the staff to be glad we're there. But my daughter served for a long time, and she said the worst night for her is when 15 millennials come together at the same table, and then they start shifting seats so they can change who they're talking to, and they all want separate checks.
Oh,
Yeah. There will be no tips. She will lose somebody's order, and she has no idea whose check it is.
Thank
It's
God
just a
for
disaster.
Venmo. I think we're using Venmo a lot more. Just bring us one check, and
No
I'm going to Venmo
kidding.
you the money. All right, and then you don't make it her problem.
That's way better.
Are
Let's
people
stop
doing
with the
it? Do
separate
they
checks
do that
thing.
in
Yeah.
restaurants and
Oh,
stuff?
yeah.
You can
Let's split it and I'll pay you.
You can split fares on Uber.
yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, so you go to the SportsBook
Yeah,
Comedy
that I
Showcase
think-
tonight. You have
yeah.
a couple of drinks. Got to make it home. You're going my way. We can split the fare.
That's a good idea.
Especially if you're on like a Dutch date.
Yeah, because I don't know if you have those. I'm never that guy. I don't know if they have those people who are like, hey man, can I get your Uber with you? I don't know. Do people leech off of that kind of stuff?
I mean, they'd have to go to your house.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean,
You
if
put
you're
in a destination.
let's say you're bringing someone home, and they're like, can you pay at least your half so I
Yeah.
can take you home? And then
I don't know if that works.
yeah, well,
that might not be the right approach.
I go Dutch on every part of every date.
Yeah.
Yeah, just keep it clean. Something happens, it's because I wanted to. Yeah, you just Dutch it up. Yeah, I think that's like a pretty common thing. People talk about millennials and what they mean are teenagers. Like we haven't really gotten the net on like what that age group is.
Yeah.
Like the youngest millennial is out of college now.
isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Like I'm 36 and I was like squarely am one. It's funny. Ben, who owns the Pineapple Tour Group and drives my comedy bus, he is 39 or just turned 40, and I don't feel like I don't know. I'm like, I don't know that I'm actually in that age bracket. And then he will open his mouth, and I'm like, yep, we are in different generations.
Oh yeah.
Get out of my room, Dad. Yeah.
Well, now a lot of the times the room I'm in, I'm feeling like I should get out of the room because I'm the dad. Like I go to a lot of these music shows around town,
Right.
and I love supporting local music, just like I like supporting local comedy.
And we
You know?
appreciate
We
it.
do.
You go to the
appreciate
shows, and you're just like, I'm old enough to be these kids' dads now, man. If like one took when I was like in my late teens,
Right.
this could be my kid, and it's scary.
City Paper, and actually in the article, I think it was about the Sportsbook show tonight, City Paper said, Keith D is the funnier than your dad joke teller for this show. And I'm like, it's not a compliment, City Paper. Quit saying that. But
Yeah, because
but that's like adjacent to your brand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you do have, Dad in your stage name.
yeah, that's true, Big Daddy. And it's not because I'm like a pimp gangster guy. It's just because I'm fat and got a bunch of kids.
Yeah, he also answers to large father.
That's right. Shawna points out it's the literal translation,
Yeah.
folks. He's just a large father.
Dad bod is in.
Yes.
So that's the thing. I've
That's
always
right.
had dad bod. I'm like, I have been this way long
I'm
enough
killing it. Yeah.
for it to be fashionable. So now I'm out there strutting myself. I don't suck in my gut anymore at the beach. I'm like, this
That's
is
right.
what you want,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
This is
is it.
what you want. Here it is.
The paper said it's what you want.
There's only one of me, so be gentle.
It ends up being good material for me. The when I first started doing comedy, I thought porn was on YouTube. That's where the really sexy
And we did
stuff
not.
was.
We did not correct it. We just let him make that
Let him
joke.
go
You
with
can
it.
find-
Just let him go.
Yeah, you can find some really risque stuff on YouTube, and now there's a red one. Yeah,
You guys know when you Yahoo yourselves.
I totally judge people with a Yahoo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or an ATT.net or a Hotmail. I'm like, come
Yeah.
on, I've been a Gmail guy for a long time, and I don't know why that matters, but I do. I totally judge
Oh,
people.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally.
A
I'm like, what are
comedian-
you still getting everything going
Get-
with your
my
AOL
God, get a
CD?
Gmail. Get
Yep.
get a Gmail.
It's not difficult.
A comedian emailed me yesterday, and it was at AOL.com, and I called him out immediately. I'm like, dude, at AOL.com? You're old school. He's like, yeah, watch the video. I'm very
Yeah.
old school.
So what do you do with a guy like that when you're setting him up? Do you roast him a little bit? And he still has an ATT.net address.
Well, I don't. She can.
Oh yeah.
I don't. When she introduces me, she's like, this guy, he's
I-
like my comedy dad, except he's never taught me anything. I just want him to get out of my room. Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm more of a roast comic than you are.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You're faster with the
I have
punches.
to. I mean, I don't really
I'm too
roast
nice.
strangers. Like for me, roasting it comes from a place of love. I have
Yes.
to
Yeah.
really like you to say mean things about you. So, I mean, if we wind up doing a roasty bus tour where they want to be roasted, and I just have to do observational stuff and whatever. But like, if we're actually doing a roast, it's got to be someone I like and love and care about. Yeah.
Yeah, because it can
Because
it can be hardcore
I think you can
sometimes, but
hear.
it can be fun.
Two comics can make the same joke, and you can hear when there is like some resentment under it, and that does not feel fun.
Yeah.
It's got to be people that love each other just saying the worst things about each
Oh,
other.
and I watch some of those roasts, and I even go back to the old school ones that I used to love, Don Rickles, and I mean,
Yeah.
good Lord. I mean, even if you take out the stuff that's just politically incorrect, period, that you could never get away with today, you're just like, and these guys are in on the joke.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
these guys, I mean, I some of the Comedy Central roasts that I used to watch, holy mackerel, just
Yeah.
like, ow,
Yeah.
Wow.
Have you seen Martha Stewart on Justin Bieber? That's a funny one.
I don't have to.
The Justin Bieber roast is funny. That's hilarious.
I mean, that's that's easy. That's good.
It is easy.
I don't know why, but the favorite one I ever saw was the Bob Saget one. I thought, what's his face? He always talks like this.
Oh, Godfrey.
Yeah, Gilbert Gottfried. His set, and then Norm Macdonald, which I don't think a lot of people got his set when it was happening. Maybe it's because I was high, but I was on the floor rolling around like I could not breathe.
It was a little more abstract, right? But I remember that.
It was like the old school roast jokes, you know? He has a face like a flower.
Yeah.
Cauliflower.
Yeah.
Just stuff like that. It's like, if you have to go to the bathroom and you see a sign that says, "Gentlemen, pay no heed, walk right in. There is no door with scoundrel on it."
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's great.
Just one of the things. So the old works with the new, but there are so many styles of comedy and so many ways to do it. And how do you stay motivated for all of these different projects? And how does the material keep coming fresh? And do you ever just dry up and go, I have no idea what I'm going to do?
Oh, I have really bad clinical ADHD. And I got this skill from my dad where you turn that into some kind of hustle. I just can't sit still. I do visual art for almost everybody's shows, and for my other projects I have going on, I can't watch TV without something in my lap that I'm working on. I don't sit still.
Just make a lot of notes and.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably gonna die a little earlier because I sleep about 3-4 hours a night. Somewhere in there, that probably isn't a great thing.
Very true.
But I'm not
the dying
tired.
part,
Like
but the sleep part.
I just burn it hard.
You're just driven. You're just driven. But that's
I
want to
create things, whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, I think continuing to create a really good comedy scene, it continues with the work that you guys do. I'm glad that we had a few minutes to sit down and talk about some of this stuff. And
we really appreciate it.
There's a lot that I'm learning just listening to you guys about it. And
well, what else is coming up that we can push people to?
So let's plug.
So there's a brand new showcase in town that's really awesome. Shawna and I did it Wednesday night, and it's at the Pounce Cat Cafe. Our friend Sarah Napier is an animal lover and a comedian, and she put those two together and put a show in the Pounce Cat Cafe. So we're literally doing comedy, 14 cats on the floor, 24, and it was sold out at 24. I think they're going to try to make it 30 next month, but 24 cat lovers in the audience, and we're trying to keep their attention and tell jokes. And I think it went great. It was a great show. Shawna headlined. She crushed. I opened up. Vince Fabra was there, and Sarah Napier does the show. It's going to be every month now. They loved it. Sold out in 4 hours. We're all jealous because we've sold out shows.
But like
Not
day
in
of
4
or whatever,
hours.
she
Yeah.
put it up 2 weeks in advance, and it sold out right away.
Immediately.
I was like, I don't know if anyone I know is going to be there because I know they didn't buy a ticket that fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just reminded me of a tweet that I favorited last week. It was like, it took me this long to not believe my friends anymore when they say they're going to come to my show. Yeah, man, I'll be there. Yeah, sure, man, I'll be there.
Sean will call him out in a heartbeat. We know interested means I'm just like,
I'm
you
deeply
know, I
disinterested in this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. But I will say, if you got friends who do comedy or in bands or whatever, just a Facebook public service announcement, do click interested.
Yeah.
Even if you don't want to go, because it puts it in more people's feeds.
Yeah, and it gives you a reminder that it's there. Don't just skip it. Click interested. We all appreciate that. Even if you're not coming, click interested.
Because then all of your friends see it, and maybe one of them does want to come.
Exactly.
Right.
Or that's a big help. Yeah.
It helps people remember that there will be some more presentations in the future, according to what we just talked about. So
I think bands and comics can get kind of salty about that, but we don't remember. Or I think we try to remember that not everyone understands how Facebook works for people pushing information, and
it's a great marketing tool.
Just say something, let people know. If you do click that, it helps.
I got a friend, Greg Swant, and he invites and forwards everything. Friday or Saturday of next week, June 30th, Creekside is actually we got a comedy show there. It's a headliner show. Andy Forrester's coming to town. He's from Raleigh. He's been doing comedy 20 years. He was on the I forget the name of the comedian that the big guy that does the clown show with Zach Galifianakis. Anyway, he's going to be here next week, Saturday at Creekside. That's a headliner show. Vince Fabra's going to feature for him, and Lauren Ainsley's coming down from Charlotte to open. What else we got
Sunday,
going
July
on?
1st, we got the Blackout Boys reunion.
Oh yeah,
show.
Michael Clayton's coming back
Yeah.
to town. All the Joseph Coker will be in that
Yeah,
one.
Awesome.
Tin Roof, right? Or
Tin
Spare?
Roof, yep. On Sunday the 1st, it's me, Joseph Coker, Michael Clayton back in from New York, John Antoine, Hagen Ragland, and Bill Davis. And a newer comic, Heather Corbo, is going to host that for us. We'll have
She's awesome.
DJ Pat Nasty spinning, and
Very nice. And then we'll have the 4th.
we'll have the 4th. Yep. What else we got coming up after that? I know we're going to forget someone's show.
The first
We're
Friday
gonna
my
hear
show,
about
the
it.
6th.
Yep.
At Sportsbook, that's open mic. Anybody can come to open mic. Anybody. What else is going on?
Oh, I don't know where your listeners are or if they're traveling, but if anybody does happen to be in Charlotte tomorrow, I'm doing a brunch show at the Charlotte Comedy Zone.
Shout out.
Awesome.
Yeah, a funny side up with Blair Nice.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah. That's
Mimosas. And
it's got a great
gonna be-
lineup and just a good boozy indoor. It's hot, man.
Stay indoors,
Yeah,
have
right?
some laughs,
Come
drink
and do
some
it
mimosas.
Like a dark,
What's
cool
not to
comedy
love?
club.
Gotta love
Get a little lit, Uber home, split the Uber. Yeah.
Just don't split your check at the restaurant.
That's
No
right.
one likes that.
So, Shawna, where can we find out more about you and your comedy and what you're up to?
I have a calendar up on ShawnaJarrett.com.
All right.
And some video there, so you can check me out there. I am mostly good about keeping my calendars separate. I do them in my phone when I get a show, and I noticed on ShawnaJarrett.com a couple of doctor's appointments. So just very
Forgot to mark
very
that one
professional
private.
operation we're running here. I will let my
just
staff
routine,
know.
Just routine.
Yeah,
so-
no, I fired my girl after that. No,
My girl.
but I do put all of my major shows up there. So Charleston does its Pride Week in September.
Yep.
And I'll be participating in the LGBT LOL show, which is part of Pride Week at Charleston Music Hall.
That's a big show.
It's a huge show.
That is a big show. That's awesome.
Yeah, and we've done that for several years running now. We've got Jen Snyder from Columbia, who is
Hilarious.
she's like, the fact that she isn't famous is a scandal.
Yeah.
She's the highest energy, most polished professional regional comic we have.
We'll
I
be
think.
looking
She's
for
wonderful.
backstage passes in a few years when she's doing
Yeah.
Coliseums.
And doing
Come on,
big
Jen,
things.
remember us?
Yeah, hey,
So I'm going to bring her
hey.
into headline. I'm going to feature for her, and then we've got some other regional. We've got Robin coming down from the upstate. We've got Sam Reisman opening. We're going to put him on that big old stage, and he's getting geared up for that.
Kurt Mariah?
Yep, Kurt's going to host for me, and I've got Kevin Delgado coming, formerly of Charlotte. I think he's in Atlanta now.
Awesome.
But
There's a lot going on.
Good regional
A lot.
talent coming, and that's on Thursday, September 20th.
That's
in
a
Charleston
huge show.
Music. It's a
so
huge
good.
show.
That's
Again,
a
her
huge
calendar at ShawnaJarrett.com. Don't just overlook the doctor's appointment.
Let's assume that I've deleted all of them.
Keith D, how we get in touch with you and stay up to date on all these shows at Creekside and Sportsbook?
So KeithDcomedy.com, DEE, has my schedule
He's got
up
himself
there.
a website.
I did finally got myself a website, and Facebook, Keith D Comedy. There's Creekside Comedy and Sportsbook Comedy as well, but everything goes through Keith D Comedy. So if you're looking for a one-stop shop, that's it.
Very good. So if you're looking for places to be entertained, or if you're a comedian making your way through town, let's keep this network growing.
Oh, hey, there's a Facebook group called the Charleston Comedy Scene.
Yeah,
where we
follow
post
that for sure.
all of our shows are on there. But also, kind of our comedy secretary Carlos Jones does a great job for us of like a list every week of where the open mics are.
Very
Yeah,
good.
Charleston
Very good.
Comedy
Because
Scene,
some of them
yeah,
vary. It's
absolutely.
like, second and fourth Tuesday or whatever. It's hard to keep it in your mind. The Charleston Comedy Scene group on Facebook is a good place to go if you're thinking about getting into comedy or just attending. We'd love to have you.
Well, let's get out and see the show tonight. 9 o'clock. Sportsbook of Charleston. This is over near Tanger. Keith, Big Daddy D, putting it on once again. And man, I really appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you for having us. If the folks come out tonight, tell us you heard about us this morning on the show, and we'll let you know. We'll let them know.
I will buy you a shot. How about that?
Yeah,
Oh.
come say hi to me and Shawna.
I will buy up to 2 of you a shot.
You don't have the wheel that's rigged to
Not
not.
at somebody else's show.
Okay.
Oh wait, I got one more thing.
Yes.
We love locals on the comedy bus. We get a lot of out of town folks. But we also get a lot of locals. We do a lot of holiday and office parties, and those are really fun. So charlestoncomedybus.com is where you can book
that's a
that. We
great
run on
show.
Fridays and Saturdays.
What do you do with out of town friends in Charleston? You take them to every stinking.
They've been to all the
museum,
plantations. You take
them on a
they've been in
comedy
the
bus.
carriage. We're getting a lot of people this summer who they come every summer. And they've done everything else, so this is the new thing. Come check it
I
out.
think it'd be better to do the comedy bus than sit out on a horse and carriage. And
Right?
Oh,
this
God,
kind of
yeah.
heat. You
I
know?
mean,
Have you ever seen anybody sitting on a horse and carriage smiling, looking like they're having a good time? They look miserable.
They do
They look
miserable.
They're not having fun. It's a check box.
It's like, I gotta go see, this thing.
So uncomfortable.
Experience history.
Sorry, Charleston.
Which, so you come with your whole family and you go and do the Meemaw stuff during the day.
Right.
And then you leave her at the hotel room. We're partnered with Home, so you go there and you get some drinks in you and get picked up and get comedy told to you on a bus. It's fun.
That sounds really great.
Yeah.
Tonight at 9 o'clock, Sportsbook of Charleston. So the show starts at 9, so get there a little bit early.
Yes, get there early, please. We start promptly at 9. I'm an on-time guy.
He's
so
the
we'll
only on-time guy we've got.
I do try to start on time. We want to be out of there at 11 before the Boeing shift gets off and takes over the bar. But we'll good come early, get
We'll
food.
make them laugh too, though.
Yeah, we do make them laugh. Come early, get food. It's a great menu. See Josh Butler there, the bartender and the owner, and
It's
tell
like
him.
kind of elevated bar food.
Yeah, tell him Keith D sent you. That
No,
helps us.
don't split your checks.
That's right.
God, please.
Just don't, for all things holy. Sportsbook of Charleston tonight at 9. Keith D and Shawna Jarrett, along with Paul Spratt and Tyler Rothrock.
Right, that's right. I heard they killed it last night too.
Well,
they were here.
they're going to kill it tonight. Hope to
Yes.
see you there. Sportsbook of Charleston tonight at 9. Keith D, Shawna Jarrett, doing
Thanks so
their
much.
thing in the comedy scene, and appreciate your time here on Box in the Morning.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.